Hello, this is John with Coffee Reviews, and today we will be discussing the La Mandarina Anaerobic Natural Processed Colombia Isabelita from Corvus. And there's the tin right there. And I threw out a lot of words, so let me try to explain what this coffee is. They describe it on their tin as a anaerobic dry fermentation process with coffee cherries and mandarin skins together for 48 hours that yields wild orange mandarin flavors in the coffee that's wickedly exciting. And on the side they say it's pointing towards unexplored territory and the future of coffee. And I have very mixed thoughts and opinions on something like this. I don't know if in some sense I would consider this cheating or too outside the box, too different. Pretty much during the anaerobic processing they're adding mandarin skins into the process. So I feel like that kind of gives the coffee a somewhat unnatural flavor in my opinion. I've had discussions with people about this processing method and I think opinions are pretty split on there, but it definitely created a very different coffee from anything I've ever experienced. That's why this will be the most unique, I think, video I've made to date. Let me talk a brief bit about Corvus. I do have a video of me reviewing their cafe on this channel earlier. Mentioned that they're doing some great things, so if you've never checked out Corvus's website, check out their website. They offer a lot of rare and different coffees throughout the year. This one was one. I have another coffee from them coming up that was in the same set. And I think that they've just been upping their game in Denver. I've been going there for, I want to say, almost 10 years. I'm not entirely sure how long I've actually been going there, but I'm very, very familiar with their coffee and their product, and I think they're getting better, so worth checking out. But we're here to discuss this coffee, so let's start discussing it. Day 6, I was getting a strong orange zest flavor, more like the white peel of an orange than the actual orange itself. A bit of darker chocolate too. Wasn't really enjoying day 6. Day 8, much better taste, a lot more of a bitter orange peel zest is gone, and it was leaving a cleaner tangerine taste. And day 10, which was the best day of this coffee for me, I actually did follow the recipe, so it's worth, I say this a lot, it's worth following the recipe of a coffee roaster when they suggest a certain recipe on their website. And I was getting much more of a tangerine flavor, slight bit of white peel taste, but it was less pronounced. And day 12, which is when I made the tasting wheel, a lot more bitterness coming from the orange peel itself. And I'll discuss that a little further when I discuss the tasting wheel. It was super orange forward with hints of chocolate. And here we are on day 14 of this coffee. And such a wild ride on this coffee, to be honest. Alright, let's go ahead and put up that tasting wheel now so you can see what I was getting. And two things should immediately jump out to you, of course. The lingering finish and the citrus fruit. I could taste this coffee for the longest I've tasted a coffee after I have finished sipping on it. This coffee lingers pretty much eternally. You taste orange for the next, like, 5 minutes. Okay, I exaggerate a little bit, but you're tasting this coffee for a very long time. It is pretty sweet. I think maybe on the right day I put the sweetness at 5 because it is super, super fruity sweet. And then of course the citrus fruit as high as possible. This is undoubtedly the most orange forward coffee I have ever had, I will probably ever have in my entire life, and there is no doubting that. Some other things to kind of note on here, the chocolatiness of course pretty high, not a whole lot of other fruits, a tiny bit of florality, and surprisingly not the most acidic coffee I would have expected with such a citric forward coffee. It might be a little bit more acidic, but just on this day it wasn't overly acidic. And then the last thing I want to talk about is that bitterness. Now for people, everyone's had an orange in their life, but when you don't peel the orange properly and you get a lot of that white stuff that's still left on the orange from the skin, that tastes very bitter, and that's the bitterness that's coming from this coffee. This isn't coffee bitterness, and coffee people know exactly what I'm talking about when you have a darker roast and it's super bitter. This bitterness is just that taste of the orange peel, and I can't help but feel that that's part of the processing method, that when that skin is put in there, you're going to get a lot of the bitterness taste that comes from that orange peel skin. And to be honest, right now. I could probably even put the bitterness higher at 4. I didn't want to put the bitterness at a higher level because I don't want people thinking that this is similar to a dark roast in the sense it gets that dark roast bitterness. This is entirely orange bitterness, the orange peel bitterness that's coming from this coffee. So I will be honest and straightforward, I don't think I really enjoyed this coffee that much. When I purchased it and when it arrived in the mail, I kind of looked at it and said, why did I buy this coffee? Because I think I really did want to do a review on it and I wanted to talk about this coffee in great depth. I had hopes because I really like oranges and tangerines, and I was really hoping that this coffee would just be, you know, that great juicy orange tangerine forward, but I was getting a lot more stuff that I wasn't necessarily enjoying. A lot of the heel flavor, the zest flavor that just wasn't really doing it for me. The entire time I was drinking this coffee too, I felt like it was cheating still in a sense. That's this processing method manipulated the way this coffee would normally taste by adding this almost artificial and unnatural orange peel flavor to it. I do think that there is a clientele that would actually enjoy this coffee because one cup, I think day 8 or day 10, I was enjoying it to a point I'm like, this is so interesting, it's so different and unique that people that really love their orange might actually really like this coffee. And while it's so out of the box, I think there's so much processing, there's so many experimentation with coffee now that out of the box coffees people enjoy. Like, I enjoy the anaerobic processing as a whole, and I feel like even some people consider that a little too experimental and outside of the box. So there probably is a market for this, and I think the best thing I can say to that is anybody that really enjoys the taste of orange zest specifically, and doesn't mind trying something so different. But that's just my opinion, honestly. I know this coffee's probably the most divisive one I've ever reviewed, so if you've had the opportunity to try it as well, please let me know what you thought, because again, I think you either love this coffee or you aren't having it, and I put myself in the aren't having it category. If you're enjoying the content, give this a like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But this right here has been a review of the La Mandarina Anaerobic Natural Processed Colombia from Corvus. Thank you for watching.